Wasabi gangsters. I aced that this time. Let's go. So I'm here to talk about books. We're going to get into my reading first, and we'll do some writing stuff later. We had Valentine's Day this last weekend, and I went upstate with my girlfriend, and therefore the writing stuff. I mean, I still worked on some stuff, but not while I was there, so it was a little slower. But let's get into my reading real quick because I actually got a lot of that done on the commute out there. I finished first things first. I finished Discovery by JAJ Minton, John, Amy, and Jacob. The Minton family over at Talking Story created. I mean, it's just a thought in my head about all-time experiences reading. This is pushing into the top 10, and I think the further away I get from it, the more, because I think this is book one of a, I don't know if it's a trilogy or five books or what they're planning. I think they've talked about it, but as I get more into this series, this is a book I think fundamentally I'm going to look back at as an overwhelmingly positive experience. I kept getting in my head I kept giving comparisons to The Stand by Stephen King, which is, I actually said this to John, Amy, and Jacob in our Discord chat. I told them how the highs of The Stand are really hard to beat in Stephen King. Like, he's going to deliver on these massive high impact moments, and he got his story in whatever 1,200 some odd pages. I think sustained enjoyment overall, Discovery topped The Stand for me, which I hope people understand that The Stand is like number 8 on my top 10 all time. So it's a pretty big deal for me to say that. And the prose, the realized characters, the dialogue, I mean, everything in this story, the well-woven plot, just everything about this story far exceeded my expectations. Not that I didn't have low expectations at all. I actually had high expectations, and so I mean that should say enough right there. So I highly recommend. I believe this comes out in May, and they're going to be doing a pre-sale over on their website. I'm going to leave their link to the website in my description for those of you who aren't already following them, or you just come. I mean, I'm sure that's not the case because it's like a big Talking Story family, but. If you're considering it and you don't know if you're going to enjoy it, whatever, like pick up the ebook, whatever you do, just I highly recommend getting this story under your belt. It is fantastic. As far as finished books, that was it for the week. I crushed the end of this. I read the last, I think 40% on Sunday, and I just like didn't want to stop. I also started Silence is Silver by Andrew Watson. And I know that's one of those that you can like pick up in a day and finish. I just hadn't. I was like also going back to Ride Hell's Chasm. I should probably finish Silence of Silver either tonight or tomorrow. I'm gonna try and I'm in 60% through, and I have like 20 pages left. It's a quick read. I just typically pick up my Kindle a little later now in terms of laying in bed, so I pass out. But I will be finishing Silence is Silver either tonight or tomorrow, so you guys will hear my final thoughts on that next week. I mean, so far I'm loving the story. I'm loving the world. I'm loving the environment that we're in, and it's just taste, which is crazy. He's doing so much with not that many pages, and it's impressive. And I got about 100 pages deeper into Ride Hell's Chasm. This story is coming more and more to life. There's a clarity that I'm sort of gaining in the plot, in the politicking, in obviously there's so much going on in this story, and the pages do such a good job of fleshing out what is happening as it's happening. And I believe the chapters go by time of day. So you have a disappearance, and then you have I'm on late day, chapter 9 right now, and you're sort of seeing the importance of we're sort of seeing the unraveling of the importance of the princess. We're seeing the background political machinations working of the bad guys. I think I'm getting that right. It seems to me like there's some wordplay going on, some manipulation, obviously some discrimination, which it's interesting to see in this context because of it's a fantasy world, and it's done. I mean, Janny's prose is incredible. I cannot say that enough. And I'm grateful she sent this to me. I can't wait to finish this story. And then it gets me more and more excited to get into Wars of Light and Shadow, seeing everybody else reading it. Also, just getting a taste of her prose from To Ride Hell's Chasm. I might pick up the Gallants a little sooner. I think I'm saying that right. I might pick up the Gallants a little sooner now that I'm getting into this. From when I choose to start Wars of Light and Shadow, I might give myself like several months of picking it up and then maybe do a reread of it. just to kind of gather as much story at once as I can, because I'm really enjoying her prose so far. Then we have Berserk. I'm in the throes of the 7th deluxe edition volumes. I read volumes 19 and 20 in the last week. So I finished volume 19 and read volume 20 as well. I finished volume 20 today. And this, we're starting to see, I'm going to get into spoilers here really quick. So if you're not caught up on Berserk up to volume 20, go ahead and like fast forward, let's say 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes and just go ahead and fast forward through that. Berserk up to volume 20. We see these Hell's Angels who, up until the point that they're exposed as Hell's Angels, you don't really think well of them just based on their appearance and obviously how they are in the world and hunting heretics, and it's kind of incredibly oppressive, which I think is the juxtaposition that Kentaro Miura wanted to draw of some of these like fervently, zealot crowds that he's creating in this world, and just the kind of instinctual belief of them. And it's frightening. And then you see Guts kind of come along as this, I don't want to say he's neutral. He has a deep hatred for something. And I guess if I'm spoiling it, he has a deep hatred for Griffith. Wow. Jeez, man. Wow. It's been so long since I've seen him. I didn't even know what his name was. And then we have his pursuit of Casca, and we have her constantly just being an inch out of reach from him. And the part that we're about to get into in volume 21, I believe I'm getting in. Yeah, because then we're going to do the conviction arc discussion with myself, Tom Orange, Britton, Andrews from Andrews Wizardly Reads, Bearded Book Beast, Alex Escandaria, and Jake from Nerd Level Rising. And I can't wait to actually get into that, because once you have those conversations, it really fleshes out the story for you. The panels in this are obviously fantastic. You're seeing the improvement in the artwork as it goes, and it's honestly, as dark and as crazy as it is, just the cosmic horror and the depths that he gets to, it is beautiful in a strange, twisted way. So, done talking about Berserk. Hopefully that was hit the 2-minute mark perfectly. Next, after I finish, Trilogy Chasm is my priority. I will be reading Discovery. I have to talk about actually something. Okay, so I'm going to read Discovery. I'm going to finish Silence is Silver. I read Discovery. I'm going to finish Silence is Silver. I'm still about, I want to say like 10%, maybe 15% into A Song of Achilles on audio I'm doing. And then I got another arc I'm going to talk about in a second. But I'm going to finish Rest of the Gods. I'm going to do the final Tales of the Sun Eater Volume 3 short story. I didn't finish the very last one. So that will be, that's like a 35-minute read as well. So Silence is Silver, The Rest of the Gods, and the final short story in the Sun Eater universe that I have to catch up on before Disquiet Gods will all be done, hopefully before my conversation with you guys next week about reading. And then Disquiet Gods, hopefully I finish Trilogy Chasm by next week. And then I have to start The Prophet of Edan and by side of Disquiet Gods. And then there's another book. I know I'm talking about a lot of books right now. We have The Crimson Fire by my friend Abel Montero. And this one, I got this art. I mean, you can't really see the beautiful colors in this because it's on a Kindle, but there are some beautiful colors on this cover. I mean, obviously it's got red, and I'm a sucker for red. But this one I'm already excited to get into. It already has a 5-star review on Goodreads from another early reviewer. And Abel, it seems to me like this is going to be a hit, and I cannot wait to get into it. Just in general, just not just because he's my friend, but because of the way that the story is being presented to me. He's doing such a good job of storying that, and I cannot wait to get into it. So that is my reading priorities squared away with you guys. There's some Malazan stuff coming in early March or mid-March as far as that conversation. I think I mentioned it last week with John Rommel and Josh. And Ramble. I got that. Wow. I screwed it up again. Ramble from Ramble Broadcasting, and Josh from Josh Reads Books, and Jake from Nerd Level Rising. We're going to have some Malazan discussion in mid-March. I think we're trying to iron out the time. I think we ironed out the day, but just got to confirm that stuff as they work their way through Midnight Tides. And I'm very, very much looking forward to getting through that again. So that's all the reading stuff, guys. Also Preacher Reads hit 1,000 subscribers. Awesome. Go check him out if you haven't already. He's a killer booktuber. There's some announcement coming. I don't want to put anything out, but Christopher Nava is kind of putting something together. And so you guys can see more of that as the weeks unfold. But yeah, I mean, I'm again super grateful for the community here on BookTube and reading community, whatever. It's like I'm so grateful to be able to have these conversations with people talking books. I'm going to talk about some writing now. So if you guys are here just for the reading stuff, just for book talk related to books that you like and enjoy and read, I'm going to move on to some writing stuff. Thank you so much for coming. If you're here for that, leave a like, thumbs up, leave down in the comments below what you're into right now, and let me know how it's affecting you. All right, so I'm going to talk about my writing right now, guys. The word count's down to like 183,000. Oh, yeah, book 2 revisions. We're down to 183,400 words from like 187 at the start of this revision. I'm up to chapter 15 of 44. Again, I went away this week and I didn't work on it while I was gone. I was kind of just being present. I haven't gotten the copy edits back from Gracie yet, but I expect to get them back tomorrow or later tonight. It's Thursday right now. I'm filming this, but you guys will be seeing this Friday, so hopefully I'll have the copy edits in hand by then. And then Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to try and really burn through it and get as much work done as I can before it goes off to my first proofreader. That said, book 2, I'm going to slowly keep working through. Once I get book 1 back in my hands, I'm going to put that to the side, maybe get a chapter a day of my revisions on there. We'll just see where I'm at with going through the copy edits and how much brain power it takes doing that. And then I'll either go back into book 2 and work through that, or I'll just focus on book 1 with all my writing time. And so that way I'm getting it out in ample time for you guys to read it early, before July, before the release date. And yeah, I'm excited as I keep going through book 2. There's some really cool scenes in there. The pacing and stuff, I'm not really working out right now. I'm just more so working scene to scene, like what is missing, what needs to be taken away, what needs to change in the overarching plot and the overarching story. And it's a very fun experience going through book 2, having worked fervently through book 1 and continuing to work through book 1, and seeing the ramifications of everything that happened in book 1 and how it's affecting them in book 2. And then also understanding the, overarching plot points and how they affected what was going on as I went back into my book 1 revisions before getting to an editor. So again, all really cool stuff to see. I'll do this serialized, probably next week. I'll probably start the serialized novella in March. Again, I just need to revisit the chapter that I'm going to release for you guys. I'm going to do it week by week. My priority now is book 1, and going through the corrections of that once I get it back. So, and obviously working through book 2 to make sure I can start drafting book 3 in April. That's my goal, just so you guys are aware. I believe I talked about the art piece I got commissioned last week. You guys, there'll be more updates on the Patreon in terms of putting out a early uncorrected look at the entire prologue, which is roughly 40 to 50 pages early for people who want to sign up for that Patreon tier. Otherwise, it will be eventually available for all free members of my Patreon. My Patreon is free, by the way. You guys can check out in the description below. There's a short story there. Just go ahead and join for free. Read the short story. Read an essay I have up there that I think is going to my book. I haven't quite decided that actually yet. But either way, it's an essay I wrote. It's going to be in there. You guys can get kind of an idea of my prose and my style, and my storytelling, I guess, acumen. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting this story out to you guys and being able to talk more and more about it. And obviously, you got to hope it's good, because if it sucks, it's like, well, it sucks. And that sucks if it does. But I'm fairly confident it's a good story. Then again, it's my eyes, and I created it. So as my baby, of course, I'm going to be a little biased. Yeah, I have to admit that. But we'll see. If you guys enjoy it, I'm totally wrong. Or no, I'm not totally wrong. It's just one of those things, like vulnerability. And this is, now I'm feeling vulnerable. Anyways, we're going to move on. I'm going to end this video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you gangsters next week. And I feel like I'm missing a shout out here. Ted Red instead. Thank you again for always tuning in. No, dang. Nothing. Brain's not firing. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you next Friday.